Where are you from, Ken?
I'm from Nantucket.
You are?
Uh-huh.
Did you go to high school here?
Yeah, in '84 graduated.
You did?
Yeah, I mentioned it to you.
Huh?
I mentioned it to you.
I know that.
Yeah.
I'm talking, but you're on TV now.
Oh, we're on TV.
Absolutely, man.
Okay, cool.
See?
Uh-huh.
That's a funny way of doing that. You turn the TV on and everything starts
Okay,
again.
cool.
So you graduated in '84, and what have you been doing since then?
In '84, I went down to West Virginia, then I came back up and I went to Salem State.
Yeah.
And I finished up there in the late '90s.
Selma State?
Salem State.
Oh, okay.
Salem State College.
Yeah. What did you do there?
I studied sports medicine.
Okay.
Yeah. And I actually came back on Nantucket and did a little intern with Dave Webb at the high school.
Awesome.
With the football season. And then after that, I ended up going down to Santo Domingo, where I created a foundation that works with kids for about 10 years.
Why did you do that?
I don't know. I went to Santo Domingo. I was like on a vacation, and then you see the kids running around and where there's no parental guidance, that sort of stuff. And we just basically started working with the street kids who didn't go to school, and all they did was shine shoes and stuff like that. And they made about 75 cents a day, but they weren't going to school, they weren't getting educated. And 10 years later, we had over 13,000 students in like 90 different neighborhoods within Santo Domingo.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, why Santo Domingo?
Well, we're in Santo Domingo, and it's a Latin country, and that type of countries, underdeveloped countries, and they really did need our help. And what I was seeing, they needed help. And we started a English program. Even the kids Spanish kids, but they didn't know how to read in Spanish. We also helped them with their Spanish. Right. I mean, the first time I started, I didn't know any Spanish, but I was smart enough to figure out what to do. So we would bring plastic fruits. We would have silverwares and say, this is an apple. So they would learn what it is in English, but they knew what it was in Spanish. So we had apple, then orange, and they actually would tell me back what it was in Spanish.
So how did all this get started? Is it a foundation you work for?
It's an official foundation.
It is. And what is the name of it?
A foundation across time meta. It's decreed by the Santo Domingo government. Yeah. This is back in 2003 when they decreed it, giving us the opportunity and the rights to.
And how are you funded?
Well, I guess just by the grace of God, I guess you could say. But what I would also say too is thank you to some of the people that that I knew, people like Ted King and Tammy King. When I needed some help, they were able to help us out. Mr. and Mrs. Frame, who were also guidance counselors here. Of course, my brothers and my sisters. My mother, that's always been the #1 fan on this project.
Do you do this for a living?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a living. It's more of a love of doing something.
But do you do it for volunteer, or do you actually
it does come out to be volunteer. I don't get paid to do this work.
No.
I just develop programs. I developed over 30 different programs in Santo Domingo, working with the different population that they had. And then my whole focus is doing like a boys club type programs in different parts of the country.
Oh, I see.
Because I grew up on Nantucket. Yes. No, that's what we have done.
You have done.
We have done it. So now what I'm doing here in Nantucket is I'm trying to be able to raise some funds as far as giving classes at the Unitarian Church, giving Spanish classes or English classes there on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Also, we're planning a concert in the auditorium on Nantucket, like mid-October.
All right.
And we're going to have a reggae group coming from Anguilla. We were also in Anguilla also, trying to do the same thing in the different villages in Anguilla. So we're gonna keep working with Santo Domingo and with Anguilla, because in Anguilla has a lot of Dominicans also.
Is this related to any church in any way?
No, this is just all created from my creation, I guess you could say. This is the foundation across time Meta, and
what does that mean?
It's an educational foundation. Okay. And Meta is the first name of my mother. So I use her name as her last name, Meta. She worked at the hospital for over 25 years. And if you go way back, I mean, some of the great guys I remember were like Earl Guerriere, who was also the director of the Boys Club, and Bubba Perry, and Richard Glidden. So those are kind of like my mentors, and so forth. One of my bigger projects that we worked on was this one. This one here is, it was about 120, 130 kids. We have kids in the morning, group in the morning time, group in the afternoon. in Santo Domingo, the kids go to school just for 3 or 4 hours a day. So the kids that went to school in the morning time, we would actually try to work with them in the afternoon.
Right.
This was a 500-hour academic program. They got 120 hours of English. They got about 50 hours of computers. They got another 50 hours of hairstyling. They got another 50 hours of dance classes and sewing classes and painting classes. So, and again, this wasn't even funded by the government, but we were able to get it done, and we got it done. And this is one of the bigger programs that we had in Santo Domingo.
That is terrific.
Yeah. So, and these same kids that you see now, they were like 5 years old to like 16. Some are getting ready to go into the university, and some are in the university. We want to try to at least have 60 scholarships available for them. This is with credit cards. We're going to actually establish it with a bank that we would give the kids the bank card, and that they would know every end of the month they would be able to go in there and take out whatever funds they needed for their transportation, for their foods, for their studying or what have you. So we actually would give the kids their own credit card, and they would expect that at the end of the month, or the 28th of the month, that they would go into it, and that those funds would be used for.
So you get no funds from any government.
No, we don't.
Dominican Republic, they don't give you any money.
No, but again, that's 10 years back, and I just developed this instinct. I've gotten better as time's gone on. So, we know where to go, and we're just going to keep stepping forward on it.
Do we have anything that we can help? Any events coming up that people
Yeah.
should be aware of
Uh-huh.
in the near future?
The next event that we're looking at doing is maybe a 3-on-3 basketball tournament on Nantucket for kids ages 8 and up. And I did give some information to the Boys Club, so the parents that have kids at the Boys Club, they can maybe sign their kids up. It's going to be a 3-member team, or 4. You can have 3 or 4 players, and the cost of it really is like $20 per kid. So, but as a team, it only comes up to be 60. So if you have 4.
When would this happen?
Well, right now we just gave the information to the Boys Club, and we're doing this with you. So hopefully in the next 15 days or so, we should be able to see if we can get some response.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
Yeah, so we gave the information to the Boys Club, and hopefully some kids will sign up on there, and we'll either have it at the high school or outside or wherever, or make up some nets or what have you, and just have some fun playing basketball.
So now, what if you don't do this for money? What are you doing for a job? What's your job? How do you sustain yourself?
Well, it's just, you're doing good stuff, God stays with you, and you don't have to really worry about stuff like that, And I've been able to do it, and I've done it for 10 years, and I know from this point forward, we plan to do a lot of bigger things and better things, so we're just going to keep going with it. So what happened 10 years ago, we know that we worked with 13,000 kids. We know we met millions of people and affected millions of people's lives in Santo Domingo. Now we went to Anguilla, checking out the scene, and the kids, they really do like the idea of learning Spanish. And again, almost everywhere you go, these governments aren't as helpful as they should be. And in Anguilla,
I'm just amazed that you're able to do.
Yeah, I'm amazed.
Spend the time.
I am amazed that actually I've even gone to this point. But again, it's all about. This is just Boys Club stuff. This is what I've learned from the Boys Club.
Yeah.
And again, from the same thing I'm doing from when I was a kid, hanging out with kids. Now I'm hanging out with kids as an adult, working as kids. So I still have a kid's heart,
But listen, Ken, I want to thank you so much. It was a pleasure finding out about you.
Yeah, thanks for coming down. I got a hold of you today, and you came right out on the spot.
You bet.
You knew it was
we love
important.
doing these.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.